Hey guys, this will be a quick one. This is just how do you work with PVC. I'm under my house here, had a leak here. I made a repair a couple years ago. That's why we have a compression fitting here, a shark bite as they're often called. And we got PEX up here, and then the shark bite allows me to convert to PVC, and then the main water line is PVC. Fortunately, I installed this cutoff last time I was under here, so I can service this and the water's still going to the rest of the house. But I'm going to show you real quick how to basically put this back together, how to glue things properly, all that good stuff. This is threaded, by the way. So, alright, first thing you want to do is make sure that the pipe surfaces you're going to work on are relatively clean. This is clean-ish. It also needs to be dry because when PVC glue is wet, water will just wash it right away. So, but you can kind of pre-fit your stuff. So what I'm going to be doing is I've got a 3/4 inch coupler, and then that is going to go to, got some 3/4 inch pipe, and up here it's going to ultimately wind up kind of looking like this. I've got a new threaded piece. I'm going to wrap this in plumber's tape or Teflon tape. We're going to thread that in first, get that nice and threaded in tight, and then we'll connect everything together and glue all of our joints that need to be glued. Because I want to get this up and running in a hurry, I bought hot medium blue lava cement. And if you read the fine print, this cement is basically ready to go in half an hour. It can pressurize up to 75 psi. That's below the maximum water pressure of my house. So essentially I can use this, and then within half an hour of repairs being completed, I can run water through it. We'll see what happens. If you run it through before then, you run the danger of washing away your glue joint, and then it's going to leak. So I'm going to do that. So the other thing we've got here is this is again 3/4 inch. It's a male threaded bit and then a female slip joint. So the idea is we're going to try to thread into this. As you can see, we're going to have to be nice to it, make sure it threads in nice and clean. And there's no pipe tape on it right now. I'm just gonna put it on pipe tape and then thread that in. Let's get that as tight as I can, because this is actually where the failure was last time. I think either the pipe dope I put on there didn't work, or a thread got nicked by the metal it's threading into, which led to a very slow leak that it started getting a little bit worse, so I'm addressing it now. So let me show you how to put on pipe tape. Yeah, you've never seen it or heard of it before. This is PFTE or Teflon tape or plumber's tape or pipe tape or sealant tape, depending on where you are, what trade you're in. It's got a ton of different names, but essentially this is a sealant type tape. It's not really sticky per se. It kind of sticks to itself, that you wrap around pipe fittings to help make sure that the threads don't leak. So generally used when you're moving air or water or non-reactive substances. So we're going to wrap our threaded bit here. And when you wrap it, the direction in which you wrap is important. Basically, you need to wrap it in the same direction as when you go to screw the piece in, that you're going to turn it to screw it in. So we're going to be turning this clockwise, right? So you're going to want to wrap the tape in this direction. Don't have enough hands to actually show you per se, because, holding the camera. But that's important, because what happens is if you wrap it correctly, the direction you're rotating will help keep the tape nice and tight against the threads. You'll get a good seal. If you wrap it backwards, as you turn it, it's actually going to move the tape back off the threads, and it'll ball up or tear, and then you don't get the seal that you want. and then you get a leak, and then you have to do it again. So that is my life lesson about sealant tape. All right, so as you can see, I have our sealant tape on, laid it on kind of thick, and I've tightened it as far as I can by hand. I might put a tool on it and tighten it a little further, but you absolutely can over tighten this. And then your plastic's gonna fail because we're going into metal, right? So it's a balancing act between having it too loose and too tight. And the challenge here is you have to glue all the other pieces, so you get one shot to do it right, and then everything's glued together, you can't do anything. So, like I said, I may snug it a little more. You can see we have a hex shape here, so you can put a wrench or something on it. And then we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna measure out what we need to measure here to finish making our connection. So, when using PVC cement or PVC glue, however you want to call it, this is what it looks like. You're gonna get a little ball, glue soaks on the ball, and this is also your applicator, and you use it to lay down your glue. Now here's the thing, you don't want to lay it down sloppy and disgusting, because if the glue gets drippy, it'll affect the seal. What you want is, if you can kind of knock it around a little bit, get some of the glue off of it, you want to lay a thin line all the way around the outside of one pipe and then the inside of the other that you're joining with. That way you'll get a good seal. So, little drippy, but the seal itself is not drippy. We had some run going down the pipe, but the actual sealing surface was not drippy. So we got that in place. Now we're gonna have to, canoodle the rest of this. Now the rest of this is gonna be straight pipe. And the thing you gotta keep in mind is your pipe is gonna sink down to that line right there. And it's gonna sink into about right there. So when you prepare to make your cut, you have to keep that in mind when you do this. If you're gonna be really mathematical about it, you should measure before you cut. I generally kind of just eyeball it, and that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna sink the pipe into this side, get it all the way seated, see how far down it sticks, and then I'll make a cut right along here. And that should be enough that I can put this together. A few different ways you can cut PVC. You can use a hacksaw, you can use a bandsaw if you wanted to. It's not that hard to cut. It's one of the cool things about it. It's pretty easy to work with. I have this pipe cutter thing that I bought years and years and years ago, and it is perfect for stuff like this. And as long as you hold it firm, it'll make a relatively clean cut that you don't have to go back and sand down or pick the fuzzies out of, or it's not going to cut at a weird angle. So that's what I'm using. Like I said, I kind of eyeballed up where that line's going to be, and I'm going to cut this off, and then I'm going to squish it in and get my test fit going on and see what it looks like. At this point, we still don't have anything glued, but this is what our final product is going to look like. So before you do those final glue points, make sure you're happy with how much you snug that up and your tape job and all that. And make sure you're happy with your length. In this case, I actually got it pretty darn good. It's nice and straight. And I had enough slack in the pipe up here that it dropped down, no issue. So I'm pretty happy with this. So my final step will be getting some more glue and applying glue at this joint and applying glue at this joint. And then that's it. Do double check again before you lay down your glue that everything's dry. If you've got too much water in your joint, the joint fails. And there we have it. So I'm gonna wait at least half an hour, and then I'll come back down here and I will turn the water on and check for leaks. All right, we're back. It's been half an hour, a little bit longer than half an hour. So let's turn this water on, see what we get. And we got a leak, unfortunately. Exact same problem. So even with the heavy Teflon tape, boy, that's annoying. It's a slow leak, but it's a leak. Oh, no, more leaks coming. Awesome. So that needs to be in tighter. Okay. So I'm going to turn this back off, and then the fun part is now I have the parts to try this again, because you always buy 2 of everything when you do plumbing when stuff like this occurs. And see if I can crank it in there tighter so it doesn't leak. Okay, this time I use my slip jaw pliers, often called channel locks. These guys right here. And I cranked that sucker just as tight as I could do it with my hand holding the compression fitting, the shark bite. Fingers crossed, it looks like this time we're not leaking. So I would say finally, second try, we have a good repair.